Well, Happy New Year, everybody. And with a new year comes brand new films I'm actually looking forward to. And I'm going to be honest here, y'all, this is not an easy list to do because I looked at all of the 2024 movies that will come out this year, and I'm only excited for a handful of them. An example of this is Doom Part 2. That is not on the list, it's because I had it on my list last year. But I'm still looking forward to that movie, but it's not my top 10 most anticipated. Nonetheless, though, let's go ahead and get down to the countdown. This is my top 10 anticipated movies of 2024. Okay, starting off this list at number 10 is The Fall Guy. You know, when I had saw a trailer, I was immediately invested. A stuntman goes to look for a missing person. I'm on board. Plus, it looks like a high-octane action film. You got Ryan Gosling, you got Emily Blunt. That alone is enough for a price of admission. Plus, I think this might be one of the sleeper hits that comes out later this year. Coming in at number 9 is Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. Now, I'm going to be honest. When I had heard that Anya Taylor-Joy was cast as Furiosa, I was a little skeptical because she doesn't seem physically opposing enough to play that character. But then I saw a trailer, I'm like, I'm on board. This one directed by George Miller. I always enjoyed the Mad Max films, even though I only saw them for the first time back in 2021. In fact, ironically enough, Mad Max Fury Road was the first Mad Max film that I saw. But anyway, what's interesting is that seeing how this is a prequel and a spin-off, and how it looks action-packed, this might be one of the best action films to come out this year. I'm hoping I'm right because George Miller hasn't let us down. Well, personally, I didn't like Beyond Thunderdome, but I think this one might be better than that film. At the number 8 spot is Inside Out 2. Now, to be skeptical, considering that Pixar is going back to the wishing well in order to make this probably as successful as the original Inside Out. But then I saw the trailer and I was like, alright, I'm on board. Pixar has struggled with its recent releases, but I feel like this one might be interesting enough to carry its own story. I mean, the first Inside Out film was an emotional adventure. This one right here, hopefully I'm expecting the same thing and not one that's forgivable. And it's actually one of the only few animated films I'm actually looking forward to this year. Godzilla x Kong, The New Empire takes the number 7 spot. You know, I've been looking forward to this one for actually a long time. Like, I enjoyed the Godzilla vs. Kong movie that came out back in 2021. This was interesting. Just seeing that Kong and Godzilla are going to team up to take on this new threat. Sure, this one won't be better than Godzilla Minus One. The story is probably going to be, well, not great to be honest. And the characters, the human characters that is, probably won't be as interesting. But, you know, we don't go to see these movies for the story. We go to see Godzilla and Kong, you know, kick some ass. And quite frankly, I think this film might actually do well at the box office. Critically, that's another thing altogether, but I enjoy the MonsterVerse movies. Even though they're not perfect, these are the type of films I could just sit back and have a good time with. A Quiet Place Day One takes the number 6 spot. And I have to say, I've always been a fan of the Quiet Place movies, but seeing how this is going to take place before those two films, you know, hence the title Day One, it actually has me intrigued. Sure, it's not a trailer out for this one yet, but I think with the cast that's going to be in this, and how it's going to play upon the fact that all the characters have to be quiet because, of course, of the alien creatures they have to face in this film, then this is going to probably be maybe one of the most interesting films come out this year. Not because it's horror, but because John Krasinski, you know, he's working on the script. He's not in the film, but I have a good suspicion that this film is going to actually turn out quite well. Mickey 17 comes in at number 5. Now, to be honest, I don't know much about this film. I do know that Robert Pattinson is in it. It's directed by Bong Joon-ho, who also had directed one of my favorite films, that is Parasite. And so this movie, sure, there's not much of a trailer for it, but I do have faith that this one will be one of the most interesting science fiction films to come out this year. And I'm hoping it turns to be a decent sci-fi movie and not like horrendous, because I think this one will be real interesting when it comes out in late March. Okay, Sonic the Hedgehog 3 takes the number 4 spot. I have to say, not much is known about this film. We don't know what the story is going to be about, but we do know that Shadow the Hedgehog is going to be the main villain. No word on if Jim Carrey's going to reprise his role as Dr. Robotnik, but it's going to be Sonic, it's going to be Tails, it's going to be Knuckles taking on Shadow the Hedgehog. And I have to say that while Sonic 1 and 2 are some of my favorite video game movies out there, I think the third one might be the best yet. I know it's a little too early to say that when it's not a trailer, but I honestly adore the Sonic movies, and I grew up playing a whole lot of the Sonic video games. And I have to say, this might be one of the most interesting video game movies when it releases in December. And who knows, it might actually lead to more Sonic films down the line. Coming in at number 3 is Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Now, I love the recently rebooted Planet of the Apes films. I think this is the best trilogy when it comes down to this franchise. And considering this film takes place generations later after the third entry, it's going to be interesting what goes down. Seeing the trailer, yeah, I'm invested. I'm hoping the story is going to be just as great as those movies were. Plus, seeing the monkeys in this film just have full conversations, that's like, it's the evolution of these apes that we have been following since 2011's Rise of the Apes. And certainly, this might end up being one of the best films of the year. Okay, coming in at number 2 is Ballerina, a John Wood spinoff. I'm in. I don't need any other information. If you tell me it's going to be a John Wick spinoff, yeah, I'm going to check it out. Sure, it's not a trailer for this. But seeing that this takes place between part 3 and 4, and also John Wick has some part of the story. I mean, Keanu Reeves. That's all that needs to be said. And the main lead, Anna de Armas. Yes, it's going to be an interesting film. This comes out later in the summer. And sure, it could end up being terrible, but I'm betting my money this is probably going to be one of the most action-packed films that comes out this year. And at the number 1 spot is Deadpool 3. You know, to be honest, this is the only comic book film I'm looking forward to this year. Like, this film's been long awaited, it's been long anticipated. Everybody I talked to is looking forward to this film. Hugh Jackman is coming back as Wolverine with his classic yellow and blue suit. Deadpool is going into the multiverse. He's going to be in the MCU. This movie's going to be rated R. This movie is going to be outright just crazy, in a good way. Like, literally, even though it's not a trailer for it, I know this one is going to be one of the most hyped comic book films to come out this year. I mean, Hugh Jackman is returning when we all thought his last comic book film was 2017's Logan. And that is why it's at my number 1 spot, considering it's the most hyped film I'm looking forward to this year. And well, there you have it. That is my top 10 anticipated movies of 2024. Who knows, maybe 2 or 3 on this list. They'll end up being in my top 10 best list by the end of the year. But honestly, I want you guys to go down in the comment section and let me know what is your most anticipated movies you're looking forward to this year. It doesn't even have to be 10, it could be more or it could be less. Okay, this is Slim Guy 172 saying peace out.